Hey, what's up? And welcome in to Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Thanks so much for downloading the podcast. And we appreciate you checking us out on YouTube as well, youtube.com. Look for Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood, the podcast. Like, share, subscribe, and comment to our Under the Hood post game show as I'll be teamed with my crazy cousin Wiley momentarily. We're presented by Ankin Law. 3126 million for the great Howard Ankin. Injury law made personal. You have a slip and fall. You have an accident at work. You have an accident at home. That's why Howard Ankin is there for you. Just put the number on your phone. You may need it. 3126 million for the great Howard Ankin. Injury law made personal. That's Ankin Law. Sign my ball. So the Chicago Bears lose to the Detroit Lions by a score of 19-16. We want your immediate reaction to the game over at Soldier Field. If you got a chance to watch the game, listen to it on ESPN 1000. Or if you got a chance to be at Soldier Field, we want to get your reaction as the Bears lose this game 19-16. So back-to-back games in which the Bears are looking for some magic late in the fourth quarter, and it does not happen. So once again, this was a vintage Chicago Bears game in which the Bears were looking for fourth quarter magic to win the games. Now, we've seen this a handful of times where the Bears were trying to win the game late in the fourth quarter. It just did not come to pass in the San Francisco game and in this one against the Detroit Lions. One thing that Tom Brady said in the broadcast that really stood out to me, and I think that you know this like I know it, is that it's just not sustainable even in the playoffs to continue to come back in fourth quarters, to have goose eggs for three quarters and then to be able to tie the game. It's awesome that the Bears tied the game at 16. It's good to see that. But the point is, though, is that when you have opportunities in the second quarter and third quarter to be able to score and not doing that, that's a major problem. It really is. The other thing is, too, is that when Caleb Williams does have something going, you got to catch the football. And this is no shot at Colston Loveland necessarily because he helped the Bears get back in the ball game. But unofficially, and we'll look through the numbers, 6, 7, 8 passes that were dropped by the Chicago Bears. You can't have that. You can't have drop passes. That's Ja'Day Walker. That's Luther Burden. That's Loveland himself. You have to be able to catch the football. So in this situation, the defense was bend, don't break. They were not overly impressive because it's maddening the way this defense just played man and not even a semblance of zone to be able to switch things up defensively. They really are what they are, aren't they, defensively? And you continue to see the Lions gash this defense, but not to the point where it killed the Bears, because the Bears still had a chance to win this football game late, and they did not. As I bring in my crazy cousin Wiley here, as we talk Bears with you on the Under the Hood post-game show, we're going to hear from, I'm looking at the podium now, we're going to hear from the head coach for the Chicago Bears, Ben Johnson, momentarily. Cuzzo, good to see you. Good to see your face. The Bears lose 19-16. We're getting your reaction. Make sure that you leave your super chats and contribute to the podcast here. Also become a member of the Hoodie Club. That's also available to you right now. So put your comments in and we'll get them right away. Cuzzo, Bears lose again, back-to-back games. You're muted, by the way, as we start off. But the Bears lose 19-16. As I mentioned, we're going to hear from Coach Johnson momentarily. You were saying, sir, your audio is muted as the three quarters of the Chicago Bears offensively.
Of course it was. Very, very disappointing loss, Cuzzo. We had I expected more. I expected Ben Johnson to have his team ready to play against the Lions. And with the number 2 seed on the line, the Bears shit the bed. And that's really unfortunate because when you're hoping to have a long playoff run, you can't let a last place Detroit Lions team invade your home stadium and put up very little resistance like you're some, foreign country that's in the news today. And I expected more from the offense. Like, what was it? 16, 19 points the defense gave up. That's enough, to get a win. And when you don't score any points until the fourth quarter, you're not going to win many games. And right now, we're essentially hoping that Josh Johnson bails out Ben Johnson, so we can secure the number 2 seed. and that's not the way, in my opinion, you want to enter the playoffs.
Well, I mean, look, I have been hammering this defense all season, as you well know. And so, again, I have to give the defense credit because they hung in there. They did not necessarily just completely break down like the San Francisco game, but it's pretty apparent that Johnson at corner is not the answer. Gardner Johnson is older player, savvy player, but not effective. Edmonds at linebacker, just on roller skates again. Linebackers are not where they're supposed to be. And again, they're just playing man straight up. You know, it's kind of like Lovie Smith when the defense struggled, where he's like, nope, just cover two. Not going to do anything else. We're just a cover two team. And eventually that was good. But the point is, though, is that there's nothing new under the sun when it comes to this Bears defense. But offensively speaking, though, it's amazing how easy the pitch and catch was against the 49ers defense. And the water was shut off at 3/4 on this offense. I mean, like it was easy against the 49ers and Rob Salah's defense. But in this game here, it's one thing when you don't get on the field, like in the first quarter, like you didn't really have shots, right? But then you go into halftime and it still looks less than pedestrian, looks weak, and it takes, again, a miracle to try for you to come back in ball games. This has been a hallmark of the Bears a lot this season. It's been exciting games, it's no doubt, but at some point you get to the playoffs and it's right around the corner. You can't wait until the fourth quarter to score points. You can't depend on the defense just to hang in there to help you until you all of a sudden realize, oh, we're behind. We got to get started in the fourth quarter. That's not going to work in the playoffs because it's just not.
No, it isn't, because you're not going to win many playoff games, especially with the defense that we have, when you produce 69 yards in the first half, possess the ball for 10 total minutes. That isn't going to get it done. And once again, we had a Ben Johnson offense, struggling for 3/4. And I don't know the answer to fixing that, because, to your point, it's exciting when you come back. It was exciting to put up 16 points in like the first 10 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
However, it will be nice to score 16 points prior to the fourth quarter. And that part it's frustrating, because you have a defense who's struggling to get home on any blitzes. You have a defense who's struggling in coverage. You have a nickel in CJ Gardner-Johnson who is getting torched by everyone. It's bending and they're not breaking in most games. And that's helpful, especially in the red zone. But you can't expect for them to bend and not break when they're giving up nearly 300 yards again in the first half, and you're producing 69 yards. So I'm hoping that this defeat humbles this team, because they didn't look prepared to play today on offense. And, I can't really say on defense, because the defense has been struggling most of the season to, not give up a ton of yards. But Ben Johnson's team has to be more prepared against the Packers or against San Francisco at Soldier Field next week.
I want to give the Lions their credit, though, because the Detroit Lions came in here like it was a couple of years ago, nothing to play for, and the grit showed. The grit showed, because Dan Campbell says you got to be able to accept and embrace the hurt. We underachieved this year. We weren't any good, but it doesn't mean we can't go in there and beat our former offensive coordinator's ass again. And it wasn't like the second game of the season, because we already went through that. It was bad. But I think that for the Lions on their dry erase board, it's like, yeah, we got to beat Ben Johnson. We got to go in here and feel good about the offseason, because we underachieved. We're hurt. We are not as effective as we once was. And Campbell put it out there after that very successful season they had a couple of years ago. He goes, guys, we might not be coming back here. We may not be at this stratosphere to win this many games and be able to do what we're doing. We may not get here again. And so if nothing else, you could see that the Lions did not quit. There's a number of games that we saw on this NFL Sunday. They were just like 1, 2, 3 Cancun. Could not wait to get off the field. The Lions, it's a division game. It's Ben Johnson. They had a reason to play. Now, what was the reason for the Bears? Like, you lost a close game against the 49ers, in which everyone wanted to tell me it felt like a win. It just felt like a win. And I wasn't buying that shit, because it's like, You had a chance to win that football game and you fell short. You're supposed to win these games. You can't win them all, but you try to win these games, especially when you score 35 or 30 plus points. In this situation, what was on the dry erase board for Ben Johnson? To get his lick back, to beat the Lions, for seeding? Like, was the message clear, or was this just another game because you've already locked in the playoffs? Big question. Because for the Lions, you know it was on their side. What about the Bears? I mean, what was their motivation today?
I think for some strange reason, they expected the Lions to lie down and let them trample them today, and the Lions fought from beginning to end.
Mhm.
And you're as a $13 million head coach, you have to have your team more prepared for a game like this. You can't have them looking forward to next week. And God bless Josh Johnson, because if without Josh Johnson, the Bears would not be the number 2 seed right now. And you can't depend on the Commanders to bail you out of a seeding game. So, again, God bless Josh Johnson, because without that rushing touchdown, the Bears would be the 3rd seed. So they still have the opportunity to have multiple home games in the playoffs. But, if you're going to expect to beat the Packers next week, we need a lot more than we saw today from both sides of the ball.
Yeah, so the NFC playoff picture is official, as the Packers will take on the Bears, the 49ers against the Eagles in Philadelphia, and the Rams at the Panthers, which is very interesting, and a bye for the Seattle Seahawks. So we're getting Bears and Packers again, and again, going back to the last time that the Bears played the Packers. Again, it was a lot of things that fell right for the Bears, and they earned that victory. But as you remember, Cuzzo, like, there was a lot that was going on there, right? Special teams and defense and offense. Like, there's a lot of things that went right for the Bears to win that game from behind against the Green Bay Packers. We're going to see what comes up with this game, Packers and Bears in the playoffs. We're going to get to your comments. Don't forget, check in our super chats. We'd love to read your super chats, and like, share, and subscribe, and comment to our video as we give you the Under the Hood podcast right here. Let's take a look and see what we have here as far as the comments are concerned. So let's start from the top. We've got the number 2 seed. There's a celebration there. Yes, good, better, best. That's right. We still got the number 2 seed. Iceman activated himself, then made everyone better. Okay, but let's go back to that last drive. Right. So a couple of incompletes. There was a loss of down because of, he's trying to throw it in a direction where the Bears are, and that didn't work. And that just stunk at the end. The intentional grounding, 3rd and 20, a pass that was short to Kyle Monungai. And it was short of the first down and punt, and the Bears didn't get the ball back. So there was not that magic that we're used to seeing. We didn't see it in the San Francisco game at the end, and then this one here. That was just kind of bad, stagnant at the end.
You're right. So when Bayard got that interception, like, I was confident at the very least we were going to win the game, whether it be a field goal or touchdown. I was confident we were going to win the game, and to start the drive off with a drop by Burton was unfortunate, and then obviously the intentional grounding. Better execution at that moment in the game. I would have preferred just to run the ball. I'm not questioning play calling on that, because you still got to execute. There was a catchable ball. Burton has to bring that down. And then Caleb has to make a better decision when he's in that position and not getting another intentional grounding. And if I'm being honest too, Cuzzo, I know this sounds crazy, but when the Bears were like 4th and 4, I know they were on their own side of the field. I kind of wanted them to go for it, because I wasn't expecting the defense, to not allow the Lions to get in field goal range. And I know, to do that, it's a slap in the face of your defense, but they haven't been able to stop really anyone from moving the ball. They may keep you out of the end zone, but you can get into field goal range fairly easy. So I was hoping, that Ben would just get aggressive and, like, you know what, we're 4th and 4. I'm going for it. And he didn't, which is probably the right call. But, yeah, I kind of want us to go for it right there.
If nothing else, Loveland would have been there for you for a first down because Caleb locked in on Loveland a lot in this game, and rightfully so. 13 targets for Colston Loveland. We're reading your chats here, and again, we're going to hear from Ben Johnson, the head coach for the Bears, momentarily. This is interesting from Timothy G. 6013 says that this is why DJ Moore is important. Let's talk about this. And by the way, we might as well just go through the numbers, Cuzzo, and we're going to get to DJ Moore and talk about him in a second. Let's talk about the numbers for the Chicago Bears in this one as they fall to the Detroit Lions, the last game of the regular season. The numbers here, as Timothy makes the point about DJ Moore. Caleb Williams, 20 for 33, good for 212 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He was sacked once by Aiden Hutchinson. The running game, 65 yards rushing. Give the Lions defense credit for bottling up the rush, including Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, Cuzzo, was not allowed to utilize his legs. He ran out of bounds. There was a play that was supposed to be there. He got effed up. I don't know what the hell happened there, but he ran out of bounds. So Caleb did not run with the football. So that's a win for the Lions defense. DeAndre Swift, 10 carries, good for 40 yards. Kyle Monangai, 6 for 14. Luther Burden had a run as well for 10 yards, 65 yards rushing. That won't do. We should just stop right there and just talk about that aspect. So the bread and butter for the Bears, as much as we like some of the pass catchers on this football team, Cuzzo, is running the football. And the Bears, 65 yards on 18 carries, that's not going to work. You need to have more production there in that spot. And give the Lions credit, they bottled that run up pretty well.
No, they did. And I mean, and that 65 yards is also including a 10-yard run by Luther Burden. So we're talking about Kyle Monangai, 2 yards per carry on 6 carries. And then we're talking about DeAndre Swift with 4 yards per carry. So they didn't run the ball a lot, but then to have 18 carries and 65 yards, you're not going to win many games against any team if you're not able to run the ball. And we saw that again today. And I'm not sure if Dan Campbell has Ben Johnson's number. Clearly he does in a sense, because what the Bears expected in both games, they did not get. So I heard Ben Johnson coming out of halftime, and they were saying, he was talking about, they were prepared, they just need to execute. I don't know if that's true, because there was Detroit Lions wanted it more. And that's unfortunate. When you're watching a game of a team getting ready to go into a playoffs, their opponent wanted it more than them. And the Bears had something to play for. And that can't be. It really can't be, because if you put up a performance like that against the Packers next weekend, you're going to be one and done.
Yeah, and the Packers, I know Packers fans have been waiting for this matchup for a couple weeks now. They said the only thing that matters is the revenge against the Bears. Well, if you don't have much of a pass rush and you're not opportunistic and not wrapping up and tackling, there's a lot of arm tackles by the Bears today from the linebackers and the secondary again. If you are getting off to a slow start and maybe that offense won't be there in the fourth quarter, maybe a team will shut your water off. That's the thing. You have to be able to play your best football. And so, as we well know, Cuzzo, man, you're in the playoffs. You do not want to be in the playoffs and then all of a sudden take 2 steps backwards. Make the most of your time in the postseason. That has to happen.
Take that chair right there.
You got to be able to do that. More numbers here as far as the Bears are concerned. Colston Loveland, we mentioned him, 10 receptions, good for 91 yards and a touchdown, key touchdown to help the Bears stay in the ball game. Jade Walker, it's nothing like being able to be with your special someone, isn't it? Your little special someone, you spend time and you put some Jade on. It's always good to be able to listen to a little Jade, have a little wine. It's always good. Jade Walker,
it's 2 ordinary love, Cuzzo.
That's what I've heard. He is wasn't a smooth operator when he dropped the football. I'll tell you that, Jade Walker.
No,
it's right here, bro. 2 receptions, 36 yards and a touchdown for Jade Walker. He was dancing like we were up 20. That was a long dance from him. It was almost flag worthy. I'm like, bro, you ever been in the end zone before? Whatever.
Yeah.
The young man's just excited. Luther Burden, 3 receptions, good for 35 yards. Cole Kmet, 2 for 16, including that 2-point conversion. Oh, man. Oh, doctor, did he take a beating in that end zone and held on to the football? There's about half this league that would have dropped that ball to get the jolt that he had when he caught that 2-point conversion. Hats off to Cole Kmet. Tough as nails.
No, that was turning sugar into shit right there, because
Whew.
he whiffed on the block, and him whiffing on a block put him in position to bounce up and be a target for Caleb. So we were really fortunate there, and we had the momentum. We really had the momentum, and then once again, back-to-back games, we had an opportunity to put the game away, and we didn't get it done. And I guess in some ways it's encouraging that I expect us to win in those moments, because in the past I was hoping or praying that we would win, and now I'm like, okay, we got the ball now. We're going to win the game, and we just didn't get it done. So disappointing into the season. But 11-6 is a great turnaround for this Bears team, and hopefully we have many more wins to come, because as you know, the last time we lost 2 games in a row, we ran off, 9 out of 10. So I'm hoping for a long run, in the playoffs. We'll see.
Yes, apparently Ben Johnson will have to have that magic wand to be able to have that run through February. We'll see about that. We should stop on DJ Moore, because a couple of people talked about DJ Moore here in the chat. Chris says that DJ played crappy. Well, okay, so on a double team, first of all, I wouldn't throw it into double coverage the way that Caleb did, but he threw it to DJ Moore. If anyone looks at the all-22, and you'll see it if you get the all-22, if you want to break this game down. I mean, the game's over, but if you want to look at it, Durham Smythe is open on the other side of the field. He's wide open, and Caleb didn't see him. It just happens, right? He didn't see Smythe, but he throws it to DJ Moore, and he breaks off his route, as you saw, and he gets intercepted. Very rarely that Caleb Williams throws an INT like that, but, DJ Moore, there's a regression there. Because for a guy that has been coming to play when Rome Odunze has been out, he was targeted 3 times, 1 reception, 11 yards. Like, he has to be able to be a player for this team in the playoffs. DJ Moore and Colston Loveland and Luther Burden and Cole Kmet, and these guys have to be able to be playmakers. I don't understand why the offense was so stagnant through 3 quarters, where it's easy pitch and catch. You're not looking for a bomb every time, Cuzzo. You're just looking to do, when the Bears offense is right, 5-yard pass, 10-yard pass, run the football a lot, establish the line of scrimmage, nickel dime, big play in the end zone, whatever that is. I don't know. The Lions defense was good, but it wasn't like a Super Bowl defense out there where the Bears can do anything offensively. I was disappointed in that aspect.
You know what, Cuzzo? Here's when it comes to DJ Moore, obviously he's a very important part to this offense. But there's a trust aspect to what he provides to Caleb. And for whatever reason, I don't think Caleb trusts him. And I think plays like we saw today, where at worst, you get a offensive pass interference to make sure that the defender doesn't catch the ball, or you give a better effort where it's at least contested. He, to your point, I think maybe took a bad angle on the route, cut the route off. You cannot give up an interception at a moment like that. You have to have better effort. And I think when you look at, for Caleb and the guys he trusts, clearly he trusts Loveland. Yeah. Obviously he trusted Odunze earlier in the season before he got injured. And for whatever reason, that trust is not there for DJ Moore, but it's starting to build for Luther Burden. So you're going to find DJ Moore as essentially the 4th option for Caleb, because he trusts Loveland, he trusts Odunze, and he's starting to trust Burden a lot. So what do you do in that situation? I'm happy with Burden. I'm happy with Loveland. I'm happy with a Doomsday, but we're paying DJ Moore $20 million a year. I want my $25 million a year receiver to be at worst a number 2 target of our quarterback, and he's not. And that's really unfortunate because DJ Moore is a very talented receiver.
Well, as you well know, before the Roma Dunze injury, he was not an option. It's crazy. You mentioned the salary, right? But it's this whole team from Caleb's standpoint, and probably Ben Johnson too, because they're both working on this together. This whole thing was about Rome, it's about Loveland, and it's about Burton. That was it. Those three. That's what it was about. And so to finish it out, DeAndre Swift had a reception good for 8 yards as well. Defensively speaking, I was happy to see the Bears be able to get on the board with sacks because Andrew Billings, Javon Dexter, and a combination of Jarrett and Montez Sweat got to the quarterback, got to Jared Goff today. Andrew Billings is going to want to burn this film for some of the mistakes that he's made out there. Like, bro, I know you want to make a play. I appreciate the aggressiveness. You can't be out there twice, with a false start. You can't just you jump. You're trying to mug the center. And it's like, man, you got to wait. I know he badly wants to make a play, and when you're trying to get off the field, especially you do that on third down, that's even more taxing on the defense. But again, it's one of the few times, where I just can't just pound the defense like I normally do because you surrender 19 points. If you have a pass rush on one end and you have offense throughout the game on the other end, maybe you have a chance to win the football game. And so there's that. Tackles. Tremaine Edmonds led the team in tackles with Jaquan Brisker, Kevin Byard. Kevin Byard with another INT, by the way. Once again, giving the Bears a chance. I keep hearing on Cap and J-Hood that what the Bears do is not sustainable. Look, man, if their whole thing is, and I've said this a lot already this season, when David Kaplan tells me that it's not sustainable to get INTs or get takeaways, dude, if you got no pass rush, you better pray for it. If you don't get takeaways, Cuzzo, what do you think the defense is? Right? If you have no pass rush, if you can't get off on third down, if you don't have takeaways at least one, then what is your defense? You're the Jets in a lot of ways defensively. And the Jets are the shits. But understand my point. Like, you got to be able to do something and have some kind of distinguishing characteristic defensively. And the Bears, they just don't have it yet to be able to get to the quarterback enough to make a quarterback uncomfortable. And so it is what it is.
I hope Kyler Gordon is back next weekend because, I loved what CJ Gardner-Johnson was giving us when he first arrived, but he's turned back into a pumpkin, and that's really unfortunate because you can't have your nickel back be a liability on every passing down, and he can't cover anyone. I mean, you and I can crawl out there and somehow we'll get open against him, and that's unfortunate because, like big play after big play was because of his coverage skills, and Jalen Johnson's isn't healthy either. Like, you're going to have to make a decision next weekend, Cuzzo. Do you go with Tyreek Stevenson as your other corner over Jalen Johnson? Because as much as I'm, criticizing CJ Gardner-Johnson for just not being good as a cover corner, Jalen Johnson isn't healthy. He isn't healthy at all, and he is a liability because he's trying to play hurt. He's trying to play injured, and that isn't going to help this team. So they're going to have to make a decision if, when you start this next game against the Packers, if Tyreek Stevenson is a better option for the Bears over, your $20+ million cornerback.
We're going to address that because I have an overarching thought about that. So just put a pin in that for a second. We're going to hear from Ben Johnson. He's standing by. We're going to get that, but just want to go through some of these chats. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment to our Under the Hood podcast as we talk about the Bears and their loss against the Lions by the score of 19-16. Peter Burke's always great for our podcast. He says this defense needs more pre-snap movement, any pre-snap movement for that matter. Goff just read it and knew where to go most of the day. Yeah, so here's what you know, right? You know that the Dan Campbell, the head coach for the Detroit Lions, he has read this defense and this offense like a menu. He knows Ben Johnson. He knew exactly what's going to happen offensively because he's worked with Ben Johnson. There was nothing new. Defensively, the same thing. Like he understood exactly what the Bears would do. And so the Lions were able to exploit it. Lions almost slipped and almost lost the game, being up 16-0, but still the Lions were very aware of what was going on there. Absolutely. They know each other very well, Johnson and Dan Campbell. A couple other things. David says they should have ran the ball more on first down and got it to a 2-minute warning. That was strange that they did not do that. I thought that was very strange.
I agree. Yeah, like all you needed was a field goal in that situation, so there wasn't a need to press things with the pass.
But I tell you what, some others checking in. You know, Panama Rick says sacks, but not many pressures outside of the sacks on the stat sheet. No question about that. Goff had a lot of time, and these Lions wide receivers are going to beat man every single time when Goff has 3 seconds to throw. 100% Panama, 100%. No different than the San Francisco game. No different than a lot of games the Bears have played as far as having time to be able to move around the pocket or to be able to have time to throw down the field. Absolutely. And again, with some kind of pass rush, this is not a problem. But when you don't have that, now it is, again, taxing on the defensive, the D-backs and also the linebackers. So I saw the same thing you saw, so 100% with that. All right, we got to hear from the head coach. Let's see his explanation now, because I'll find out what Ben Johnson has to say. And we are presented by our good friends over at Aiken Law. 312-6 million for the great Howard Aiken. There he is. Put that number in your phone. 312-6 million for the great Howard Aiken. As we hear now from Ben Johnson, the head coach for the Chicago Bears, his thoughts as the Bears lose to the Lions at Soldier Field, the last game of the regular season, and the Packers are the next opponent for the Bears in the playoffs. We'll find out what Ben Johnson's got to say. Let's see. Ben Johnson and the Bears are now the number 2 seed, and so we
disappointing to lose that one in that fashion. There, guys were battling. They fought their tails off, but came up short. So we got to play better. We got to play better going forward. We got to coach better going forward as well. And we're turning the page though. We got the number 2 seed. We got a home game next week, and we got a new season on the horizon. And so our guys should be reinvigorated by that. I know I certainly am. I'm looking forward to the opportunity and all that entails, and the opportunity to go 1-0 this next week. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and open it up.
And what about today's performance grabbed your attention most?
Yeah, we can't dig ourselves in a hole like that, and was disappointed with the offense as a whole. I let those guys know that, and we'll be better for it. We'll address it. We'll get those things cleaned up, and we'll be better for it.
Ultimately, as you mentioned, this doesn't cost you with seeding. What was your messaging to the guys?
That we're quickly turning the page here. Everyone's disappointed. I appreciate, like I said, their effort. Some teams, they rest their starters. We don't. We play football, and and we felt like it was really important that we were playing our best ball here today, and we didn't get that job done. And so we're quickly turning that page, and now we got a home game coming on up, and there's a way to win this next game, and that's what we're going to be solely focused on.
With 155 left, did you consider going for it?
Yes, I did.
Why did you want?
Because we had 3 timeouts, and we felt like we were going to get the ball back.
Then you guys had two games against Green Bay that were just as tight as you could possibly have. How did you feel about the way that series went this season?
The 2 games against, good opponent, and I think we're fairly evenly matched. Got a lot of respect for how well they're coached. I have a lot of respect for the talent level that they have in that building, and I'd expect it to be another exciting game.
And what was your sense for why the offense took as long as it did to get rolling?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that's one that we'll have to take a look at the tape and figure out why that was. I didn't feel like it was one of our more elaborate plans. I thought it was one of our simpler plans. And so we need a better job executing it and coaching it up.
A chance to review Caleb's interception. What did you see on that?
Yeah, we'll play.
You switch the script so quickly to a new season. I mean, this is a
Yeah, that's the name of the game here, though. I mean, we're quickly transitioning. We're locked in. The stakes are a lot higher here going forward. We can't afford to one of our three phases play like we did today, and so we're going to have to pick it up. And like I said, I get fired up just thinking about it right now, and I know our guys are too.
You say that one phase, the offense?
Yeah, and in particular, I was not pleased with the offense today.
When you say simpler game plan, were you holding back at all?
Nope.
What were you least pleased with offensively when you think about it initially?
The points. I only scored 16.
time at Bend you even spend correcting this game because you have such a turnaround?
Yeah, we don't know when we're playing yet, but it's a normal game week, and we always have plenty of time to make our corrections.
And we spent a few weeks talking about Colston and the way he's come on. It's clearly become a big down guy for you. When you're in those moments, third down, fourth down, what have you seen from him that's made him so reliable?
Yeah, he knows what to do. He's got outstanding hands. He works his tail off. He's usually the first one on the practice field. He's usually the last one to leave. And so there's just been an immense trust level, and his route tree has grown accordingly.
So Ben Johnson, the head coach for the Chicago Bears, speaking to the press after the game, and tell you what, kind of pissy with his answers. Very pissy. He did not like the effort or lack thereof of the offense. Said that it was one of the simpler game plans. So that is a shot at Caleb Williams in the offense. Whatever that means, they said a simpler game plan, and the Bears did not execute it for 3 quarters. I wonder what that means.
That means that Ben Johnson is pointing the finger, at his offense instead of as a head coach taking accountability for what they. This isn't new. This is what we've seen for most of the season. We've seen a Bears offense that generally comes alive in the second half of games and pulls it out in the fourth quarter of games. We haven't seen a Bears offense score, I think, a touchdown on the opening drive in about 2 months. At some point, that becomes a coaching thing.
Yes, you were saying about Tom Brady saying something.
And we started this.
Go ahead. Because I was making a comment about Tom Brady. I wonder what that was going to be. The Bears, they lose to the Detroit Lions 19-16. You were saying about Tom Brady, sir.
No, the GOAT, unlike Ben Johnson, is usually prepared. And Ben Johnson's offense has not been prepared to start games. So at some point, he has to look in the mirror, make some changes to what he's doing, or if there's something else to change, he needs to change that, because you can't come out and put up a goose egg in the first half or the first 3 quarters or give us 3 points and a half like we've seen repeatedly, with the exception of the 49ers game, for the past couple of months. So at some point, it's Ben Johnson and not the offense, because he's not getting the change that he needs from this unit. So he, as the leader of the team, has to do something different instead of point the finger at this unit.
One thing, and is it a Lily Jumper? It is, you say, I know it's early, but do you see them trading DJ for some defensive cap space or included in a defensive player trade? I'm not addressing any of that until the season's over, because I don't care. at this point in time. What I'm focused on is the Green Bay Packers. Like the idea, this was a question that was asked to me in October or November. I'm not concerned about what the Bears are going to do in the offseason until the offseason's here. I know that makes me a simple Bears fan, but my whole thing is that this is about what the Bears can do against the Packers. We talk about the big game in the game 2 between the Green Bay Packers and the Bears. How do you think this game is? It's one step at a time. Like I don't think about the offseason until we get there. I think it's clear what the Bears need, but that's not anything I want to talk about at this point in time. They just lost to the Lions. They looked limp offensively, again, having to try to pull it out. Have a vintage Bears game, pulling it out of the fire. So my offseason thoughts will happen when the season's over for the Bears. Hopefully that won't be like next Sunday. Hopefully that will be a few weeks into February. We can discuss that. That would be awesome for us to do that. But I'm not talking about the offseason on my radio show or on this podcast. So we're just not doing it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what the Bears do in the postseason. Panama says, I've had years of the only thing that we talk about is the offseason. Let's live in the moment, playoff bound, and shred that cheese. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like that's all I care about now is to see the Chicago Bears beat the Green Bay Packers. As Cuzzo has done a wardrobe change in the middle of the broadcast. I mean, I don't know. I have the same shirt that I came into the show with, but this is a diva, folks. This is who we're dealing with here. A man who decides to go to his bedroom to change the shirt, now knowing that the matchup is Bears and Green Bay. Well, did you have something for the Eagles, or did you have something for like some other team, just in case? Do you have anything if it wasn't the Green Bay Packers?
Stay tuned.
But did you have it handy though, just in case you just had to change it to okay, all right, just making sure. And that's the whole thing. That's right, man. It's about that we are in the dance. So that's the whole thing, is to find out exactly what the Bears do. So I just want to get your thoughts now. Let's go back to the first 2 games for the Bears and the Packers, Cuzzo. So at Lambeau Field, there was an opportunity for the Bears to win that game. And the prevailing thought was, oh, man, the Bears were pretty close, and Packers fans got to know that Caleb Williams and the Bears are coming, even though it was a loss. I don't like the moral victories. I don't, because we're talking about big boy football. That's cool from the public league. It's cool to do that on the other side of the cage at Gately. If you want to do that whole thing with a moral victory, I don't do that in the NFL. I don't know why some Bears fans feel like if you lose close, it feels like a victory. I've always thought that's bullshit. I always have thought that. So the Bears lost that game against the Green Bay Packers. They come to Soldier Field. The Bears won that game because of the hustle and doing the little things to be able to beat the Packers in that game. Knocking out the quarterback, old school, knocking out the quarterback, and then he had to go to Malik Willis. That was awesome. And the Bears earned that victory. Now this one, what's your expectations? Because it's going to be close. A lot of people believe it's going to be close, but can the Bears do this at home?
So when Ben Johnson was hired, we heard Ben Johnson talk about, he told George McCaskey that in the Chicago Bears fans, that he enjoys beating Green Bay twice a year. Yeah. And here's his opportunity to get a second win against Green Bay in a season. I believe we scored a total of 3 points in the first half of both games, in Green Bay as well as in Soldier Field. We can't get off to a slow start. We can't expect to rally in the second half. We can't expect to rally in the fourth quarter. We have to be ready to go from the moment of the first whistle. Offensively, defensively, we have to come to play. The Bears fans will be out there and providing all the motivation we need to win the game. And I think we have to find a way to win the game. And I think to win this game against the Packers, a Packers team that's lost 4 straight games, we're going to have to run the ball effectively. And not just wait until, the end and hope for some heroics. Run the ball down the Packers' throat and make some plays on defense. Get some stops. I'm hoping that we get Kyler Gordon back so we can have someone who can actually play the nickel. But we're going to need Ben Johnson to earn that $13 million because, it's fine to, win a lot of games in the season. It's fine to, score some points, but we're here for Super Bowls. You were hired to win Super Bowls, fair or not. And when you get an opportunity to go to the playoffs in a wide open year, because you look at all the teams in the playoffs, any team can win a Super Bowl this year. And that hasn't been true every year. You look at you're like, okay, well, Chiefs are probably going to win, or whatever team Tom Brady plays for is probably going to win. And we're looking at a wide open AFC, a wide open NFC. So you have an opportunity to go from worse to Super Bowl in a year similar to what the Rams did, 25 years ago. So take advantage of this opportunity, because who knows if we're going to get many more years like this with health and with some good fortune with the way some balls bounce. So I'm hoping that we'll prepare next week, and I'm hoping, the Bears can pull out a big win at Soldier Field.
Okay, so just look at it practically. When we take a look at the positives and question marks of the football team going into just the playoffs, it could be against anybody. It could be San Francisco, it could be Eagles, but it's the Green Bay Packers. Okay, great. This game does not have more importance to me than anybody else the Bears would play. It's just that the Bears are in the postseason. I know for some people this is the Super Bowl, and I don't think it's the Super Bowl. I just think it's an opponent the Bears have to be able to beat. And it's not about history, like, oh, you remember that time? It's just about getting to the next level in the playoffs and not just being one and done. Because when you're one and done, who knows what the future brings, Cuzzo. So that's a problem. That, you just don't know what that brings if you don't get it done for this game against Green Bay. Will you be in the playoffs next year? Who knows? But the positive and negatives are this. Like, it starts here. Caleb Williams has gotten better as a quarterback. That is undisputed, that he's gotten better as a quarterback. He can run with the football. He has a strong arm. He's been more accurate as of late. So that's great. He finishes with 212 yards, 20 for 32, 20 for 33 in this game against the Detroit Lions. The running game has come together because the offensive line has been stout. That means DeAndre Swift and Kamanunga has gotten the job done. We've been able to see Colston Loveland and be able to see Luther Burden to really come through for this offense. Who knows if Adunze is going to be healthy for this game? Who knows? I mean, they've been winning without him. So if he's there, that's just added, more added production for the Bears. So Loveland and Burden and DJ Moore, Jade Walker's part of this mix as well. So they got plenty offensively. Cole Kmet, you got plenty to be able to utilize offensively. It's not about throwing 80-yard bombs. It's about running the football, establishing the line of scrimmage, and be able to utilize your tight ends as safety valves, just to get first downs, just to take the time off the clock and just move the ball. So, again, the positive is that your O-line, your quarterback, your running game, it's all there. The other side of it, though, is that defensively speaking, you're not getting the pass rush that you need. They did get home a couple times on Jared Goff. Awesome. I ain't looking for sacks as much as I'm looking for pressure. Can they pressure Jordan Love? It's going to be Jordan Love, right? Be sure that he's going to be the quarterback, I would imagine, for this game. So you want pressure, right? So you want pressure on him. The same thing with the linebackers that, I need for them to be able to be in position, because that's a problem. They're just all over the place, Edmonds and Edwards. It's just like they have to be able to establish their position. It's not, don't take it from me, take it from a guy like Lance Briggs or those that play the position. Just do your job. Just it's man defense. Take care of your responsibility. And then the secondary, because you don't have a pass rush, you just got to be on it. You got to be opportunistic against Love in the offense. So there's positives, there's good things with this team, but hopefully the good outweighs the bad or the questionable to win this game, because this team is not Super Bowl. You talk about the Super Bowl. Yeah, your lips to God's ears, but there's still holes on this team. And so because those holes have been able to give you the one loss record you had, it's awesome. But hopefully the good outweighs the questionable against the Packers in the playoffs. That's all I can tell you.
Oh, you're right. And the most, obviously, you want to get the win however you get the win.
Yeah.
But to me, the most important people in this matchup is going to be Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. You hire Ben Johnson, the hottest coach in the offseason. You paid him top shelf money, and you spent your number 1 draft pick on Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, a quarterback who came 58 yards short of the first 4,000 passing yard season for the Bears, but he had about 4,400 total yards of offense for the Bears this year and 31 touchdowns. That's a lot of production out of the quarterback position, and you can, hopefully look forward to that level, that baseline or more going forward in the future. But as Tom Brady can tell you, the greats are judged on championships. The greats are judged on playoff production. So this is a critical moment for Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams to show us, what we have to look forward to going forward. Because as encouraged we are by what the Bears have done this season, we will be just as disappointed if next weekend they lose at home to the Packers. Like that would bring a promising season to a disappointing end. So you have to go into Soldier Field next weekend and come out with a W. However you do it, it doesn't matter. But the key people is Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams.
There's no question about that, Cuzzo. I'm seeing here, Lily Jumper says that that Brad Biggs is saying that the Bears are a 1.5 point favorite at Soldier Field. That's tight.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than being the underdog we've seen from the Bears. I think the first couple of games against the Packers, they became, I think, a favorite on Sunday morning. I think they were like +1 in the second game at home. So I guess that's improvement by the odds makers.
Yeah. So there you have it. Let me check that. The Packers are 1.5 point favorite. Is that what we're getting?
Okay. Let me. Oh,
I've not opened
that's
up.
what it looks like.
Okay.
I'm about to open.
All right.
I don't encourage gambling, but I'm going to open up my.
Yeah. So there's that.
No, I'm seeing different book, but I'm seeing -1 at Bet Rivers, and it looks like the Bears are going to play on Saturday at 3:30.
Okay. All right. We will we'll keep our eye on that. But yeah, so I just think that's whoever, if the Bears are favored, if they're not favored, the point is that the Bears have to just take care of business. Soldier Field, right?
Right.
So that's they got to take care of their business in this game. All right, Cuzzo, do you have a final score for us for the Bears and Packers? Would you like to give you want to do it now, or you want to wait till later on in the week? Are you ready?
I'm ready, but we can wait if that makes it more interesting. I'm always ready.
Okay. Well, I mean, again, the 45-14 scores you've been giving lately have not cashed for the Bears wins. I don't know where you ever find this 30-point spread for the Bears. It's kind of ridiculous. It's kind of over the top.
I'm due for one.
I don't think you're getting that for this game coming up for the Bears and Packers.
No, I don't think so either. So if I had to give just a score based on what we've seen recently, I would probably go 23-20 Bears.
Oh, I see. Don't think the Bears can get it done. Can't put the pedal down, offensively. Can't do it, against the Packers.
You got to I'm going the other way and hoping that, by being a little bit more modest, they'll do a lot more than what I've been expecting recently.
I just think that's interesting. I mean, you're the guy with the fuck Green Bay shirt, but you have a 3-point spread. That's not quite effing Green Bay very much. I don't think that's what's happening there.
The win is good enough, So we fucked Green Bay by beating their ass one way or another next weekend. So I don't care if it's by 1 or by 31. Just come out with the win.
I see. Okay. Well, whatever you say, man. I thought that usually you would give a belt to ass type of prediction, but apparently you're not getting one tonight from you regarding the Bears and Packers. You feel like it would be a close game, a field goal game. That's what you're saying.
I'm going to start the new year, being being a little bit more modest. That's
that's never going to be the case. It is not, as we record this, it is not official exactly where what time or what day the Bears will play. There's some guesses out there, but there's nothing. It feels like Packers Bears. It feels like 3:30 on Sunday. That's what it feels like. It feels like if you get 49ers and Eagles and they're the champions, maybe you want to put them early, and then Packers, Bears, and then Chargers, Patriots at night. We'll see, but I don't see anything official yet as far as times and days as we record this. So
no, I was looking at that too. So I think the date they put in there was probably just a placeholder date.
Maybe
just to put out the line. But I agree, it's probably going to be a 3:30 game. Probably Tom Brady calling the game because he's called a lot of Bears games this year, and hopefully, we can have Caleb walking away with the let's fucking go trophy, after a big performance in Soldier Field.
As we close, just for clarification, so FanDuel has the Bears as a 1.5 point favorite against the Packers. DraftKings has the Packers as a 1.5 point favorite. That's how close it is. So there's a lot, some consenting, some dissenting opinions about this. So we'll see. Of course, you have the Bears by 3. The Cousin Wiley scale.
Yes.
Is 3. And by the way, there's amazing deals. You never know about Wiley. He might sneak to the game. I would imagine that you'd want to keep your money in your pocket, but again, it's 2026, and he's the Bobby Bonilla of our family. So who knows when that check's coming in? But there's some $1,200 tickets for this game I'm looking at on StubHub. There's $19.55. There's $7.76. There's some expensive games. So
how much do you want to be there? Yeah,
I'll watch it Hood Cave. Thank you.
Yeah, I will watch on television. I reserve the right if they make a long run in the playoffs to cash in some chips and see if I can make it to a game somewhere. But there's no chance I'm going to the first game. So we'll see what happens later in the year.
Do we get the mascot or not tonight?
You know what? New year, new playoff run. Let's go. Let's reverse fortunes and bring in the mascot.
All right, let's bring in Rocky. Mascot. Let's bring in Rocky. Yep. Let's bring him in. He's been waiting to get on camera here as we close. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe and comment. We've got merchandise as well. Under the Hood merchandise is available right now. That is available. Listen, it's pretty chilly in the Midwest and the Northeast and some places in the South as well. So make sure that you find yourself getting one of these hoodies right here. Get yourself a hoodie. Under the Hood hoodie. Make sure you get t-shirts as well. We got merchandise available right now in my link tree and also connected to this YouTube channel as well. Check it out. Of course, beanies and trucker hats as well. It's all there. The J-Hood and Cousin Wiley collection, all part of this as well. So check it out. It's in the bio of our podcast in the link tree, the Under the Hood merchandise. If you've not checked it out, please do so. Also be a member of the Hoodie Club. Some perks that are coming in 2026 as we develop this YouTube channel and also on our podcast as well. So there's our mascot, Rocky. There he is. And hopefully Rocky will give the Bears some good luck as we get ready for the playoffs with the Bears and the Packers.
How many Bears by 20, Rocky? Bears by 20? He said yes. Bears by 20.
Oh, is that what he's okay? Well,
Bears by 20.
I thought he was a little not sure about that. He sounded like he was groaning about that. Yeah. You didn't sound too
Bears by
confident.
20.
All right.
Bears by 20, bro.
So for our mascot Rocky and for Cousin Wiley, this is Jonathan Hood. Make sure you check me out on the Cap and J-Hood Morning Show on ESPN 1000. Also download the ESPN Chicago app. You're going to need it now because the Bears are in the playoffs and they're taking on, my God, the Green Bay Packers. Can you believe this? It's Bears and Packers again for the third time. And so we'll have full coverage on ESPN Chicago. And, of course, right here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood, we got coverage for you. So make sure that you subscribe. That way you miss nothing. From Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. So long, everybody. Somebody make a call. This may not look, this doesn't look legal.
Bears. Here we go.